Hi, I'm Gavin, and you're a shit DnD player. Alright, so, before I start, let me just say this. I have no script for this video. I'm literally coming up with this out of my ass as I speak. It is 9 at night and I'm tired, and I've had a shit day, so might be a little bit crass. So, remember, everything's ad-lib, take what I take with a grain of salt. That didn't make any sense. And let's begin. So, this is my open letter to players, and what I just basically want to do is I want to say some things that I've thought for a very long time, but I've never said. And I will begin with number 1. As a player, please, for the love of God, do things. It is so frustrating as a DM when you have, like, maybe not even a plan. Maybe you just, like, put your players into town, and you're like, alright, you describe the area, and you're like, alright, what would you like to do? And there's dead silence. That is soul-crushing. That is soul-crushing to a DM who has spent 3 hours creating this town, and 2 hours creating the NPCs, and 4 hours creating the plan for the session, the lore, and all that. It is soul-crushing, that dead silence. If you don't know what to do, try to get in your character's head, and this gets more into role-playing, which is what we're going to talk about as the next big thing, but try to get in your character's head and think, what would my character do? Not, what does Gavin, in this example, want to do? What does, like, my character want to do? Let's say I'm playing Barty McFace or something like that, I don't know. He's chilling, but he's kind of hungry, you know? Like, not all interactions have to be, I want to buy something. Not all interactions have to be, I want to search for this thing. They don't have to be plot-driven. You could do something as simple as say, hey, I want to go get a bite to eat. And that little thing is going to immerse you in the world more, and it's going to make the DM happy that you're taking this world seriously. Alright. Number 2. Roleplay. And I said this before, but this is a very big one, because my best freaking memories of all of D&D I've ever had, when I played a campaign with my family, when I played it with my friends, when I streamed it, every time I've ever played, my best memories have been with me doing absolutely nothing, just sitting back with a huge grin on my face because my players were role-playing all on their own, in character, for like 10 minutes. You have no idea how gratifying that is as a DM, and it's fun for players too. And if you don't know how to roleplay, there's like quadrillions of things on YouTube on how to do it. I'll put one in the description, probably the one by Matt Mercer because he's a legend. But just roleplay, my guy. It helps with plot, it helps with immersion, it helps you get attached to your characters and care about the thing. It makes your DM happy because look, DMs put so much work into a session, into a campaign, into a little bit. So it is so frustrating when characters shit all over everything you've done, because as a DM, you put a lot of work into it, right? And I'll finish this up with a true story from my non-streamed campaign, all right? And if you are Dylan, Aiden, or Richard, you will remember this. I know for the love of God you will remember this because it's kind of a meme in our group now. But here's what happened, right? So the players are chilling, they arrive at this town, and they're trying to, like, they're following this lead of, like, a mystery, right? And, like, traditional D&D shit. And then what they do is they end up having to stay the night at the town because, you know, it's darkness. So instead of going to an inn, they go to a farmer's house on the edge of town, they murder him, they go up to his bed, and I was like, alright, well, this is not traditional, but it could work, you know? The whole party's fucking nuts, so it's not a huge stretch. They take sesame seeds, bird seeds. They take bird seeds that they had bought for no reason before. They rub them on each other and fall asleep coated in birdseed oil and poop. That is a genuine story from one of my campaigns. Okay, and you have no idea how infuriating it is as a DM when you have an entire session played out, and it's not that they don't get to the other things, because it's not their fault. Maybe you made it a hard puzzle or something, but when they just utterly give up and they resort to doing something like that, players don't do that. Like, it will murder your DM's self-esteem. It will make him so sad, and he won't want to do it anymore. And at the end of the day, what we all want is more and better D&D. And if you don't want that, then you should leave the campaign. If you don't like D&D, then don't play in a campaign, because you're just hurting everyone else. But if you like D&D, then respect the DM, respect the effort they put into it, and try to match that effort, you know? You don't have to spend as much time as they do, but just respect what they do, just like you wouldn't go into your parents' room and take a big ol' whiz on their sheets, because you respect them. Have that mentality where the sheets are your DM's campaign and his preparation, and your parents are the DM. You're not gonna mess with it just to mess with it. Don't do. How fucking long was I muted? Oh my god, I don't know how long I was muted for. So, get in the head of your character, try to be your character, try to think as if your character, and if something would really impact your character, like their friend dying, but you don't care, act like you care, because your character would care. That's all about role-playing, and, it's just, take to the plot, essentially. You know, don't completely ignore a plot device by your DM, because then you're throwing the whole session into the void of, I don't know, time to pull out this session from here, you know, and nothing good can come from that. Maybe a few memes, but nothing of substance. Final point is going to be character arcs. This is more of a roleplay thing, but if you have a character, they're supposed to start here and become a better person. And that's just basic, like, you know, stuff. And the best way to do this, have your character start believing a lie, and then eventually learn that that lie is false. Example, your character believes that no one can be trusted. This is good for, like, rogues or something, or people with tragic backstories. So, don't use this exactly, but, like, you know, this is just an example. It's just EG period. So, what you do is your character, first session that they're in, completely believes that nobody can be trusted, and they're probably brought together with the party by complete chance, and they can't leave, or else they would, right? So they completely believe that nobody can be trusted. Now, over the course of maybe 10, 20, 30 sessions, because it should take a while, it shouldn't be a one-session thing, they slowly learn that, hey, these people are pretty chill, maybe I can trust them. And eventually, there's a turning point where something happens, and, like, maybe the party, like, betrays them on accident, and then they relapse. They're like, oh crap, no one can be trusted. So they completely relapse, and for a few sessions they believe 100% the lie again, until eventually they realize what a mistake it was, and they come back to save the day. That's basic character arc stuff. And yeah, talk to your DM about that. Definitely talk to your DM about that, because that's a very, very plot relevant thing, and it's not something you should be doing on your own. And honestly, nothing is something you should be doing on your own. The thing that pisses me off most as a DM and as a person is when people hide things from me, and that really pisses me off, especially if it's something that I should know. And final thing, really quick, if you ever find yourself creating a secret chat, like a Discord message or an iMessage chat, just to talk shit about your DM, don't do that.